Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the RAMBAM Hilchos Deos, Perek Daled, the fourth chapter, holding by Ois Tes, the ninth letter, and we're speaking about the dietary suggestions and advice of the Rambam. Yesh ma'chala shem royim beyoser ad ma'od. There are certain foods which are extremely harmful. And a person should never eat from these foods. Kagoin, for example, hadagim hagedolim hamaluchim hayeshanim, large fish that are aged and salted. So I don't know what the equivalent of that would be today. Maybe some of these white fish that you see on a huge platter by a bris, maybe even lox. If it's sad, if it was too long, that was in the aging process. These foods are not healthy for a person. V'agvina hamalucha hayeshana. So too, very aged and salted cheese, old salty cheese, also not good for the digestion. V'akemehem upitrois. So too, truffles and mushrooms. V'abasa maliach hayashan. And if you have meat which is aged and salted. I don't know that it's talking about beef jerky, because most of our beef jerky today is very fresh, the way you get it. But if you would have old meat, and remember in the olden days, you didn't have refrigeration, there were no freezers, there was no vacuum packing, so whatever was lying around, literally lying around, it was filled with bacteria and the like, and says the Rambam, stay away. V'yayin migitoi, that's wine that comes straight from the wine press. It's too strong the way that it is. V'tavshil, sheshat shenadav reicha, so if you had food that was left over, and you didn't put it away. Again, they didn't have any place to put it away, and it ended up getting a foul odor about it. A person should not eat that. Any food that has an unpleasant smell, or a very bitter taste, that's a sign that it's not healthy for you anymore, and you should not eat it. You should know that these are like poison to the body. That's the first part of the Rambam. There are other kinds of food that are bad, but they're not as harmful as the first group that we just said. It's fitting for a person not to eat from these in general, only a little bit, and after many days, which means there should be far and few in between, that you eat the foods that he's about to list. And furthermore, you should not accustom yourself to make your mazain, your sustenance from them, and nor should you eat it together with your mainstay of food either. These are things that should be eaten only sparingly, says the Rambam. Now, what are them? Kegain dagim gedolim ugavina, like big fish, ugavina and cheese, v'chalav and milk, sheshah achas shenechlav chav dalet shos, that was sitting out for more than 24 hours after it milked. So if you would know how long the milk was, I would imagine with the FDA obligations and restrictions today, you're not going to have such a thing. But if in the olden days, when they would milk the cow, sometimes the milk would sit out for more than 24 hours. It's unhealthy dairy, unhealthy milk and cheese. But again, it's not something that you have to cut out altogether. It's something you should only eat sparingly. Ubasar shvarim gedolim. So too, the meat of large oxen, utayashim gedolim, or of big goats. Va'apoil, va'adashim, va'asapir. So too, all these different vegetables, beans and lentils, v'lechem sorim, and barley bread, v'lechem matzah is matzah bread, v'hakruv, kruv is cabbage, v'achotzir, leeks, v'abatzalim, onions, v'ashumim, garlic, v'achardal, mustard, v'atznoin, and radishes. So, says the Rambam, these things also are not so good for you on a constant basis. Kol elu ma'cholim roim heim. All of these foods could be harmful. Ein roy la'adam lechol me'elu. A person should not eat from them. Ela ma'at ad ma'oid u'biyumayis hagam shamim. Should only eat a little bit of them, and it should only be in the cold, rainy season. But in the summer, when it's hot outside and your body's heating up already, lo yoichal mehem klal, you should not eat from these at all. Apparently these cause more body heat, says the Rambam, and therefore you need to stay away from them when it's hot already. Va'apoil va'adashim bilvad. And when it comes to the poil, when it comes to these kinds of beans and the lentils, they should not be eaten neither in the summer or in the winter. However, when it comes to the diluyim, squash, that you can eat in the summer season, says the Rambam, that would be permissible. So again, the Rambam is giving us all these different details. You'll have to check if all of that which the Rambam says is still applies to what we know today of what is healthy and what is not healthy. A lot of what he says is to be kept in mind, and so you'll keep the list of foods that the Rambam says could be harmful for you. Keep it handy so you know to eat the healthy food. So if you have a healthy food, a healthy body, you'll have the healthy neshama to be able to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All the best.